to present the Grammy Legend Award for 1993 to my big brother, Michael Jackson.
Fame is often described as a dream. Success is measured in numbers, awards, sales, applause.
The idea was to make something that was a story, so it had a beginning, a middle, and an ending.
But tragedy rarely announces itself in advance. It grows quietly behind the spotlight. To understand the life of Michael Jackson, you have to look at all three forces together: fame, success, and tragedy, not as separate chapters.
God bless you. I love you too.
But as threads woven tightly into the same story. Because his life was not simply a rise to stardom or a fall from grace. It was a collision between extraordinary talent and extraordinary pressure.
A second, I'll just kiss this dais. Michael was standing here. Marvelous.
Michael was born in 1958 in Gary, Indiana, into a family where music was more than entertainment. It was structure, it was ambition, it was discipline. His father, Joe Jackson, managed his children with an intensity that produced results but also left emotional marks. Practice sessions were strict. Timing had to be perfect.
Not really, no. We've always performed, yeah. Even when we were small kids, yeah.
Stage presence had to feel effortless. By the time most children were learning to navigate playground politics, Michael was navigating studio microphones and television cameras.
I think it was probably pretty disturbing to him in many ways that Michael...
When the Jackson 5 signed with Motown, their rise was immediate. Hit records climbed the charts rapidly. Audiences were captivated by the young lead singer whose voice carried soul well beyond his age. Yet from the beginning, fame was not gradual for him. It was instant and overwhelming. What is often overlooked is how quickly he understood the mechanics of performance. He studied crowd reactions. He adjusted his vocal phrasing depending on the room. He learned how lighting affected mood. Even as a child, he was analyzing the stage like an engineer.
My father always prepared for the family, as well as my mother. Always wonderful.
But fame at that age reshapes identity. When your name becomes a brand before adulthood, privacy disappears before it ever develops. He once hinted that he never experienced a normal adolescence. No quiet mistakes, no anonymous growth. Every stage of development happened publicly. As the 1970s transitioned into the 1980s, Michael began separating himself artistically from the family group. His collaboration with Quincy Jones marked a turning point. They approached music with precision and innovation. Recording sessions became laboratories. Rhythms were layered carefully. Vocals were recorded repeatedly to capture exact emotion. When Thriller was released, it did not just succeed.
I pretty much did the album and just sat back and watched because it was another one of my dreams. I knew it was going to do what it did.
It redefined scale. The album became the best-selling record in history. Music videos turned into cinematic events. The industry itself shifted to accommodate the level of spectacle he introduced. Fame at that point became global. In an era without streaming platforms, without social media algorithms, he still reached nearly every continent. His dance moves were imitated worldwide. The red jacket, the glove, the sharp spins, they became universal symbols. Success followed relentlessly. Tours filled stadiums with tens of thousands of fans.
The phenomena, Michael Jackson!
Awards accumulated in record numbers. Albums like Bad confirmed that his dominance was not accidental. He was not riding momentum, he was engineering it. But fame does something subtle over time. It isolates. The larger your audience becomes, the smaller your trusted circle often gets. Every conversation feels recorded. Every new relationship feels uncertain. Reports from those who worked with him describe a man who was deeply polite yet increasingly guarded. Media fascination with his appearance intensified during the late 1980s and early 1990s.
And she said to my father that I could sing, and he didn't want to hear of it. You know, he said that Jermaine's the lead singer, not Michael.
Changes in skin tone, facial structure, and style became subjects of constant speculation. He stated that he suffered from vitiligo, yet public debate often reduced medical reality into sensational headlines. Instead of discussing musical composition, interviews focused on physical transformation. This shift in attention marked a critical change in his narrative. The world that once focused on his sound now fixated on his image. Then came allegations in the early 1990s that introduced a new level of controversy. Legal battles followed. Settlements were reached.
Keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen. I will be acquitted and vindicated when the truth is told.
Later, a criminal trial in 2005 ended in acquittal. But public opinion is not governed solely by court verdicts. It is influenced by repetition, commentary, and cultural climate. Tragedy in his life did not always appear dramatic at first glance. It manifested as erosion. Endorsements distanced themselves. Tabloids amplified suspicion. Financial pressures mounted as legal costs accumulated. The image of invincibility began to crack. Yet musically, he continued evolving. Dangerous showcased new production styles influenced by contemporary trends. He did not retreat creatively. Instead, he experimented with darker themes and more aggressive sonic textures. Some critics saw it as reinvention. Others saw it as reaction. His personal life remained intensely scrutinized. Marriages were examined publicly. Parenting decisions were debated in headlines. Even gestures meant to protect his children from cameras were interpreted as eccentricity. Behind the spectacle, however, reports from close collaborators suggest someone still obsessively committed to craft. He rehearsed meticulously. He refined choreography repeatedly. He demanded tight synchronization from dancers and musicians alike. Perfection was not optional in his world. As the 2000s progressed, the cultural landscape shifted. New artists dominated charts. Digital platforms altered consumption habits. For the first time, Michael was not the defining face of contemporary pop. For someone who had lived at the pinnacle for decades, that shift carried psychological weight. Financial strain became public knowledge. Lavish spending from earlier eras collided with reduced touring and legal expenses. The myth of endless wealth proved fragile.
These will be my final show performances in London.
Then came the announcement that reignited global attention. This is it. The planned residency in London was framed as a final grand statement. Tickets sold out rapidly. Anticipation soared. Rehearsal footage later revealed something powerful. Despite age and strain, he remained deeply involved in creative direction. He adjusted arrangements, he corrected timing, he still cared intensely about how every note would land in an arena. But tragedy can arrive quietly and suddenly at the same time. On June 25, 2009, he died at age 50 due to acute propofol intoxication. The shock rippled globally. News coverage was immediate and relentless. Radio stations played his songs nonstop. Fans gathered in public spaces to grieve collectively. His memorial service became one of the most watched broadcasts in history. Tributes poured in from artists across genres and generations. In death, the focus briefly returned to music rather than controversy. Yet even after his passing, debates continued. Documentaries, renewed allegations, and cultural discussions ensured that his legacy remained complex. Fame had amplified every aspect of his life. Success had magnified expectations. Tragedy had ensured that his story would never settle into a simple narrative. What makes Michael Jackson's life so compelling is not only the magnitude of his achievements, but the scale of his contradictions. He was both shy and commanding, both generous and cautious, both innovative and nostalgic. He created art that united millions while living a life that often felt divided. His influence on music remains undeniable. Modern pop production techniques echo his layering methods. Concert choreography borrows from his sharp precision. Music videos still chase the cinematic ambition he normalized in the early 1980s. But beyond influence lies a deeper question. What does it cost to live under constant observation from childhood onward? How does a person separate authentic identity from global projection? Fame gave him visibility beyond imagination. Success gave him power and wealth few artists achieve. Tragedy complicated everything that came after. In many ways, his life reflects the extreme version of a broader human tension, the desire to be seen and the need to be understood. He was seen by billions. Whether he was fully understood remains uncertain. More than a decade after his death, his music continues streaming at extraordinary levels. Younger generations who never witnessed his peak still recognize his voice instantly. Dance studios still teach choreography inspired by him. Cultural references still invoke his name as shorthand for pop excellence. And yet the debates endure. Michael Jackson's life cannot be explained through a single lens. It requires acknowledging brilliance without ignoring controversy. It requires recognizing cultural impact while accepting unresolved questions. Fame made him larger than life. Success made him historic. Tragedy made him human, and perhaps that is why his story continues to captivate. Because it is not just about a singer who broke records. It is about what happens when extraordinary talent collides with extraordinary pressure, and the world watches every moment unfold.